I think that's one of the most important things about. I think that's one of the most important things we miss about human nature is nobody gives each other eye contact anymore. Like I understand it's very small, but it's so impactful to every interaction that you have. If you are curious, if you have an open eye and you have open ears, but you get rid of all of your value judgment, if you leave yourself empty and then you are able to be filled by another person based on what they say, the sun is hidden right now, good and bad. If you can do that, if you can be completely empty based on what somebody says and be filled by them on what they have to say, the interaction is far more different. And I don't know, I think that's just something we miss out on in a lot of these interactions nowadays. Is everybody's just a lot of people are labeling themselves as anxious or introverted as an excuse to not have to talk to people. I think we have limited ourselves by how we label ourselves. You know, I had this other uh, little insight the other day because of I was on a 9 mile run, and around mile 4, I told myself that we limit ourselves based on how we label ourselves. For most of my life, I have labeled myself. Oh my gosh, the sun is sunning right now. Thank you, sun. For most of my life, I was introverted, and I labeled myself as introverted. If you literally have a conversation, or no, you literally can't have a conversation with my dad because he'll just send my mom to go talk to you instead. My dad is so introverted, it's insane, and I just realized that like a couple days ago too. Like my dad will send my mom. My dad will send my mom to go talk to the neighbor. It's just funny, but we limit ourselves on how we label ourselves. And I thought about that on the run, and it's true because I possess a lot more qualities that are more extroverted, but based on how I labeled myself as introverted, I then limited myself because well, I'm introverted. I can't do these things, right? So whenever I had qualities that were on or aligned with being extroverted, since I labeled myself as extroverted, I wasn't capable of building on top of those skills. You know, going up and interacting with people and starting new conversations, speaking in front of a loud group or speaking loudly in front of a group because I need to direct traffic and where people go, right? Like there's a lot of these skills that you pick up, but because of the way you label yourself introverted, you then limit yourself because the way you label yourself manifests across all of the actions that you take. And if you label yourself as introverted, well, an introverted person isn't allowed or isn't capable of doing or crossing, isn't allowed to do certain things in the way they want them to. So I just think that's important. Like the more you label yourself, the more you limit yourself as an individual. And I don't know. I think that's kind of important. I've been kind of thinking a lot about the way I label myself now, because I did label myself as introverted. I did. Okay. I did label myself as introverted. Yeah, I did label myself as introverted for a long period of time. Now I will say ambivert because I think ambivert fits me, but I don't know if that's necessarily me limiting myself now, because now I'm intersecting between my introverted qualities and my extroverted qualities. Because the other day when I went on that 9 mile run, I clearly was able to hold my own in terms of conversations. I was able to go up to people and just talk to them, right? Whereas the introvert, they'll find themselves in their little corner with the water and just people watching, right? Which I tend to do that too. So I can see myself cross examining between both sides. But yeah, what you limit your or the way you label yourself is the way you limit yourself. So instead of giving yourself these labels that you may have already grown out of, find out what you're labeling yourself and find out where you're limiting yourself in that general area. I don't know. Something I was thinking about too is my interaction with my physical therapist. That guy's cool. If he's watching this, shout out you, man. I'm not going to say your name, but you know who you are. I don't know. I just think, and it's okay. The reason I think this is cool is because it's true. So, physical therapists, doctors, dentists, personal trainers, we all have a field of knowledge, a context or depth of thought because we took the initiative to learn about it ourselves. And the reason we decided to get into it, whether it was our parents getting us into it, whether it was our desire to help people or our desires to make other people fit, whatever it may be, or us having a particular injury, and then because of somebody else who helped us through that injury, we were then now inspired to help others through their injuries as well, right? So we have all these reasons as to why we get into particular things. And along the way, you gain a field of thought, a depth of thought. Not only that, but experience based on doing things yourself, experience from, I don't know, the studies or the courses that you partook in. But then at the same time, you also have so much knowledge, specific knowledge, which is very hard to get, very specific knowledge that you have and possess that allowed you to see transformation in the thing that you needed to see transformation in, whether it was your health, whether it was the injury that you had, or maybe you just reinforced and built a better body, right? So personal trainers, doctors, physical therapists, we all have that specific sort of ingrained, I don't know how to call it, like we have we have we have that, just, I want to say a gift because it's not a gift, but we just have specific knowledge, we have experience, and it's something that's benefited us in our lives. So we feel this call or this obligation in a way to help other people the same way we were helped or the same way we helped ourselves. So when you go and you try and help other people, you realize that most people aren't trying to help themselves. That is the number one notion that you will come to find out. And most of the time you try to anchor or bring all the chips forward in front of somebody so that way you can bestow it onto them, and then they can realize, based on all the information that you have, you just try and put it in front of them, they will still not take action on that thing, whether it's flossing their teeth, whether it's stretching for 15 minutes a day, whether it's, eating protein first thing in the morning or having a glass of water, like these general practices that have benefited us. And no matter how minute they seem to be, other people will not take initiative on it, no matter how much information you can pull and drag and bestow right in front of them, right? Most people don't want to help themselves. And I had this interaction with my physical therapist the other day because I didn't talk to him about this, but I noticed it because most people don't want to help themselves, right? I already said that. Most people don't want to help themselves. So when I go in there to have physical therapy for the first time, I am completely blown away at what this guy's talking about, right? I am curious, I'm joyous every time I learn something, and I can tell that this guy's just having a good time because he kind of got himself into a flow state too, because he knew exactly what to do. He knew precisely the detail that he needed to bring on my upper right rhomboid. He knew exactly how to explain it to me, and he explained it so thoroughly and so well with the spine and showing it to me, and I was learning. It was such a cool experience to be a part of because I learned, but I think he learned something about himself too, where I don't know. I think personal trainers, physical therapists, doctors, they all want a client. Oh gosh. They all want a client who wants to help themselves, who is curious, who's joyous in learning. Like we all want like as a personal trainer before, like all I wanted was somebody who was down. I didn't want to work with somebody who complained about having to go to the gym. I didn't want somebody who was telling me, "Oh, it's too hard to eat this and try that." Like I just wanted somebody who's fucking down, right? Like, "Oh, you're telling me I only have to eat 30 grams, 50 grams of protein for breakfast? I can do that, right?" Like, "Oh, I'll just have some steak and eggs," right? Like you don't find a lot of people who are aligned with that sort of thing. You don't find people who actually truly want to help themselves or are curious about learning. So, in me being the way that I was with my physical therapist, hi Nala, me being very curious and joyous and asking questions and learning and the light bulb turning on with my physical therapist, I think he, in a way, ended up finding somebody who he's been like dreaming to help. I think we all have somebody who we dream to help because we know exactly what to do, we know exactly how to show them, and because they're as curious as we are, it's almost like they help us learn something else about ourselves, right? So originally he was treating me, but based on who I was at that given moment, I was treating him in a way too. Because who knows? Sometimes we do the same thing. Sometimes we have the same general routine. Sometimes we talk and have the same conversations. Sometimes we see the same people every single day. But the only thing that's going to change is our interactions with people, right? Like, you cannot guarantee your interactions with people. You cannot guarantee the same dialogue with the same people. Hi, Mr. Sun. You cannot do it, right? Things are going to change. Days aren't going to be the same. Or days will very well be the same. You can say hi to the same people. But your interactions, the feelings that you have, the thoughts that you have will all change. We have 70,000 thoughts per day. And then they're drowned out by another 70,000 the very next day. It kind of goes back to that. There's a quote is people won't remember the things that you say, but they will certainly remember the way you make them felt. I think with that guy, with my physical therapist, maybe I'm just tripping. Maybe I'm just blabbing and this dude's watching and he's like, "That did not happen, George." But oh man, my bad. I had a protein shake for breakfast. It just came to show me that yeah, like you learn more about yourself within that process. You learn so much more about yourself because maybe in that given moment, this guy was already sick of his job. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he was just going through the monotonous sort of routine where he just shows up to work and he helps a couple people, but he doesn't feel fulfilled. But then somebody, I'm not trying to say I'm the one that helped, but like somebody who's curious, you want to help the people that are curious. You want to help the people that are joyous. You want to help the people that show up and make it easier for you. You know, you want to help those people. But then again, when you are helped by those people, you're reminded on why you did the thing in the first place. You're reminded of why you started in the first place, because you can see parts of yourself in them when you originally started. So I don't know. That interaction was cool. And then at the end of that, I remember, I don't know. Another thing that I'm thinking of is like praise, dude. I think praise is one of the most, it's like an antiseptic. It's like a drug, dude. Praise is so hard to get. It's literally like the hardest drug to get. It's praise. And I don't know why, because we can literally give it out for free every single day. And it takes so little of our energy to give. And it takes so little for someone to get praise in order for them to be reinforced and feel good about themselves and take initiative and move forward and make progress. Like, it takes so little praise to change anything. I recently had this. How do I do it? This one's cool because, but I don't want to say it because. Okay, well, fuck it. So there's this cool moment that I had where I could be wrong, right? I could be so wrong, but we had this cool moment where it was an associate's birthday, and I really wanted to get him a cake because usually at our work we get associates cake, and we sing him happy birthday. But this associate was going to go to vacation, so this was his last day before vacation. But this associate normally isn't there in the first shift, so we had to buy the cake and we had to be secretive about it. And I was already thinking of this like little speech that I wanted to give him, right? I was thinking about it and I was like, oh, this could be nice. I was thinking about it like as I was driving. And then the time gets there, we get the cake, and then we give him the cake, we blow the candles and whatnot. And then I just see like his expression change. You know, I see the expression change from maybe just showing up and doing the loop, right? Just you show up, you get your check, and then you show up the next day and do the same thing. I saw the energy shift, or the face and the expression shift from the loop over to just unencumbered like joy and like happiness. And I was at that moment I was like, "Oh, here I was like thinking of this big grand speech, but the praise that he needed wasn't the speech. It was actually just the subtle notion of the cake. It was just a subtle expression of, hey, we care about you, that got him to flip. And I was like, whoa. And it just reminded me again that so many people need praise, but they don't need praise to a high extremity. They need praise to a very minuscule amount. You don't need amazing high tier praise. You just need a little bit of praise to allow someone to feel validated, allow somebody to feel welcomed and important. Like that's literally all humans need, is just a feeling of importance. And you can give that to somebody for so little. You can say it by like, oh, it blows my mind, and it makes me sad because so many people receive so little praise and they do so much, you know? Just breaks my heart sometimes. This one was all over the place because that's just where my head is all the time, all over the place. But I hope you gained something out of it. I'm trying to do podcasts again, but without like losing my mind at the same time. uh, because the whole shorts thing, you know, make a podcast, make 10 shorts on it, then re-upload those shorts over to TikTok. And then once you're done with the TikTok ones and you have to do the title, do the description, do the hashtags. You want to put that onto Instagram, and then you want to send DMs to other people who are possibly interested in being in your podcast. And it's just this whole big constraint that I'm sick of doing. But I still have my ideas that I want to produce and put out into the world because I want to contribute and I want to help and I want to be. No, I don't want to be anything, but I do want to just help. I want to contribute and I want to talk about my ideas because my ideas are cool and they're fun and they're interesting. Yeah. So I think I'm just going to produce podcast episodes, like just post them on YouTube. That's it. Just letting my ideas out. And I hope I can stay on this wave. Who knows? Maybe in 2 weeks from now, I'm going to be in total podcast all in mode where I'm doing the same thing again and just burning myself out and burning myself out. I don't know. I think I hit the gas very hard. When I hit the gas, I hit the fucking gas. I don't try and take it light. I don't try and take it easy, but, I think we're trying to define ourselves recently. Yeah. I don't know. If you're watching this, spend time in nature. Get off your fucking phone. Yeah. No, that's real. Get off your phone. Put your screen to black and white, because once you're sedated and desensitized from that noise, you come outside into nature and you see just how vibrant and how beautiful everything is. And anything on that fucking screen is just detestable, making you question yourself. It's interesting how at like 20 years old, I was questioning myself whether I was doing good enough. But literally, I was 20 years old. Of course, I wasn't doing good enough, right? I don't know. I just don't think we need to be plastered onto a screen where the only thing that's birthed inside of us is inadequacy. I think social media is nothing but feeling inadequate the moment you step onto it. And it's something that's just going to distract you. It's something that's going to keep you entertained, but it's not going to help you. I think the most important way you can help yourself is just by being by yourself. And someone sent me this quote, and it's amazing that he sent it. And it's amazing that I'm bringing it up and got into this conversation. But if you're lonely and you feel alone, you're in bad company. If you're lonely and you feel alone, you are in bad company. And what he means by that is, if you feel alone and you are alone, no, if you are alone and you feel alone, you're in bad company. It means if you don't like who you are in the given moment, then you're going to feel very, very lonely. But if you love yourself with every fiber, every grain, every aspect of your body, you are not going to feel alone, because you have you. You always have you. And if you can love yourself to that high extremity, then you'll never feel alone. Granted, you will, because you're a fucking human, and humans are meant and built to thrive in communities, being around other people. But there's nothing more delicately pleasant than going to a restaurant all on your own and having your own meal. You know, people will think that's something that's sad, but it's sad that people can't sit alone in a room on their own with their own thoughts and have a good time. It's unfortunate that people can't go to restaurants on their own without feeling like they need somebody else, or without thinking that somebody is watching them, thinking that they are weird for being alone in a restaurant, or that it's unfortunate that we need, like, it's upsetting. And I think social media has embedded that and bred inside of us that it's not okay to be alone. It's not okay to not have other people around you. It's not okay to delve deep inside of yourself and understand who you are as an individual. It just makes me upset. And yes, if you're watching this, please stay the fuck away from social media. Go into you, be an arachnid on its web. Ask yourself questions about how you were raised. Look at the things that you fight for, that you take pride in, and ask yourself why you do. And if you see problems in them, question them. There's so much. There's so much I want to say, but we only have like 10 seconds until the 30-minute time limit goes out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one, I guess.